Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. On the r/Paladins server, there is a bot called the Devil's Little Helper, which allows you to look up basically all the information you want in regards to the overall statistics of the game, such as pick rates, win rates, etc. And if we just look up the pick rates of every single champion in Paladins, then you'll notice a few interesting things. Omen is number 1 for this patch because he's the newest champion, so that obviously makes sense. Everyone wants to try him. Ceres, pretty high. Victor, Skye, Furia, all very, very high champions. But if we go on down here to number 10, you'll notice that one of the first flanks you encounter, besides Skye and Maeve, is Vora, with 71,000 picks, and she's actually above Androxus, who is the poster boy of Paladins and one of the most popular flanks of all time. Vora is more picked than Androxus. That is quite a remarkable statistic to me, because Vora is not exactly someone who you think of as being a particularly meta champion these days. If you think of meta flanks, obviously on controller you have Talus, Koga, Lex, and on keyboard you have Androxus, Vatu, Eevee, and Vora is pretty low on the list when it comes to meta flanks in general, but yet she is still very picked. And the win rate even reflects this state in the meta, as she has a 48% win rate in the overall champion pool. But if we go on down to ranked, which is a bit more reliable in terms of a champion's strength, then we can see that Vora is still pretty popular. I believe she was down in the 20s, yeah, 23 right here, but she has a 45% win rate, so her win rate is not looking too good in the overall ranked meta. But she is still very, very popular. And so today, I want to play a bit of Vora, show off a build I've been using that I fine-tuned after consulting some Vora enthusiasts, and talk about why I think Vora is actually a pretty well-designed champion, and why she is someone who the community generally tends to gravitate towards as one of their favorite flanks, even when she's not meta, because she is definitely not meta right now. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Alright, so here we go. We are on Siege Warder's Gate. We have myself on Vora, Victor Tyra, and a level 0 Ying, oh boy, versus also a level 0 Androxus, level 8 Io, level 2 Maeve. What happened to the matchmaking? Ah, well, lovely. Anyways, we're not here to talk about matchmaking. We are here to talk about Vora, who is a very, very fun flank. And so yeah, I'm not going to analyze why she's not meta. I've already done that in a previous video. I want to talk about the positive things that Vora has, because she is actually a really, really cool character. I do like her a lot, honestly. So yeah, let's go ahead and do Relentless Presence here. It's Warder's Gate. I feel like that's probably a good talent here, especially considering they have a team of all flanks. Gotta stay mobile, right? And the build that I generally have been using recently with Vora is this build, which is a Tendril HP build. We basically max out the cooldown of Tendril by using Dance with Fate and a Change of Faith, and then we also have the health card at level 4 to give us a bit of extra beef. We have Sharpened Resolve at level 1, and we also have Crimson Ascent at level 1, which are two really good fillers for Vora. So let's use this, and let's talk about Vora. Let's also buy some Haven real quick. There we go. Right. So Vora is a very interesting flank. She's kind of the predecessor to Seven, in the sense that both of them share the same niche of being someone with a grapple, having really long range, and generally being relatively squishy. But Vora tends to be a lot more balanced than Seven in terms of, specifically, her mobility isn't as crazy, her range isn't as crazy, but she does have a lot more beef to her. She is able to have just inherent self-sustain on her abilities, right? You use Dark Siphon and Obliterate, and consume those stacks, and you will end up healing yourself as a result. Obliterate, of course, also gives her some of that damage immunity as well, which is always a nice thing to have. Oh boy. We really do have a level 0 Ying, don't we? This is going to be a terrible game, and it's not even because I'm commentating over it. But yeah, she has a lot more sustain, a lot more brawn, and she also has some crowd control, which Seven does not have. If you hit 5 darkness stacks, and then use Dark Siphon, you will end up crippling the enemy with that Dark Siphon, and that is certainly a very helpful tool in Vora's arsenal, that honestly without it would make her way worse of a character. And yeah, keep in mind she's already not meta. So, that is... oh crap, I'm so dead, I'm so dead, I'm so dead, I'm so dead. Yeah, oh man, she timed it. Okay, jeez, I'm getting farmed out here. But yeah, this self-sustain does end up making her arguably a bit more of a jack-of-all-trades character, right? And jack-of-all-trades characters are very interesting because they don't stand out in any way. You know, Vora It doesn't stand out with her burst, doesn't stand out with her mobility, doesn't stand out with her self-sustain. There are flanks that do every single one of those better. Far better than Vora, actually. But because she can do all of them, it actually means that she is able to be picked in a variety of circumstances. And so if you're just playing some casuals, you want a fun flank who is good in most circumstances, you can play Vora and absolutely have some fun, have a blast. It's actually pretty great. And so that's probably one of the reasons why she's able to be picked so much, why people like her, is because, yeah, she is able to fit in very, very nicely. She also, in my opinion, has a very fun game loop where you sit in the back and you farm up stacks on possibly bots.
That's 5 in a row.
Anyways, yeah, you sit in the back, and you can farm up stacks with your projectiles, which look very, very cool, by the way. And, yeah, you're able to do quite a lot of damage, whittle someone away from a distance, and then, once you have your stacks or you see them low, you can tendril in, use those stacks to augment your ability, and then very likely kill them, with either the Dark Siphon giving you a cripple, or the Obliterate giving you extra damage, which can be very helpful on a target like Tyra.
Away with you.
And I think that generally is a very... I'm not even going to re-record this match just because this is so silly. No, what was I saying? Oh yeah, right. I think it's a very understandable game loop, and I think it's also very fun to execute, because, you know, she has just very satisfying projectiles to use. The tendril is very intuitive and very satisfying. It's not going to send you 10 million miles away like Sevens, nor is it completely ineffective. It's very finely tuned. And so, in general, I think it's just a very attractive kit type compared to some of the other kit types out there, right? Because it doesn't take the most skill to pull off, right? She's not as skillful as Eevee or Maeve. And so some people are definitely warded off from those characters because of their skill requirement. Androxus as well, he's a pinpoint hit scan, some people don't like that. And so I think she's generally very accessible. The projectiles are pretty large, not quite as large as Zin's, but they're still pretty huge, pretty easy to hit. And when you combine that with the mobility and the Obliterate, yeah, she ends up generally being pretty nice and fun to play. But another aspect to Vora that definitely I think has served her well is that she has a very, very nice aesthetic, right? A very cool personality. She's a character who I think people can really enjoy in terms of actual character design. Not talking about her kit, talking about the actual character now. Because there are some characters that are just, oh my god, they're snooze fests. Listen, no hate to Octavia, but she's so boring. Like, not only do I think the kit is boring, but as a character, it's hard to really relate to her or find her interesting, right? There's not really a lot of depth there, and she's a sleeper dude. She's boring. What else is there to really say about her? Same goes for characters like Vivian, even Victor to an extent. But meanwhile, let's look at Vora. Well, she's cute. There's definitely some horny bait there. I mean, it's Paladins we're talking about. But besides that, she's got a very lovely voice. She's got a very cool aesthetic, right? That sort of dark, sort of reddish palette is really nice, honestly. And then she also has a very interesting backstory, right? She's betrayed by Io, she turns to the darkness, she's the harbinger of Yaggroth, she has her place in the lore. And having a lore connection definitely helps out a character, right? Of course, not all of the best characters in this game have crazy lore, but it definitely helps the character out. So I think having that as well has made her definitely a character that people enjoy more so than, you know, some of the other characters in this game. Because, yeah, personality does help, right? That's part of why other games have been successful, too, is because they make characters that you can really be interested in and get into, right? That's a big reason why Overwatch was so successful, right? Because they had really fun, cool, unique characters. That is definitely a positive that Overwatch has always had. And Vora is one of those characters who, in that department, I would say Paladins did really, really well, right? Ooh, we're fine. Hey, look at that. Hey, let's go.
I didn't do it for you.
But yeah, I think that is another reason why Vora was so successful. Going back to what I said about not taking as much skill, I didn't mean that to say she takes no skill, right? Because that would be a silly accusation to make. Of course she has plenty of room to be skillful. I think she's got a nice balance between having, you know, a low enough skill floor that she's not impossible to get into, you know, unlike Eevee, for example. But she also has a relatively high skill ceiling. And having a high skill ceiling is really good because it allows you to sink time into the character and makes you want to improve. Like that dodge on Xin there I just did there. Bit of fast reflexes, having my ability available, I was able to dodge that. That is an expression of skill, and stuff like that definitely helps the longevity of your character. Right? If we want to talk about characters who have low skill ceilings, right, like Betty La Bamba, it's hard to really get into Betty La Bamba. Because, like, even though she's really brain-dead easy to play, and that does appeal to some people, it's hard to stick with her because there's just no real reason to improve with her. You can't really improve that much with her because she's brain-dead. She's certainly still a popular enough character, but obviously Vora's more popular, so that says something about the success of those two characters, for sure. Let's get some more Nimble. I have no idea what's going on in this match. I mean, the matchmaking is something crazy. I don't know if some of the enemies are bots. They might very well be. This Eevee is obviously, I would say, the best one on their team right now. Hello. Alright, we're gonna use this and run away. She is back here. I got the illusion, but I also have Xin on me now. I'm just gonna run. I'm gonna run very far away. The illusions are still healing me. Let's go. There we go. Let's kill you. And let's just pop in here with an obliterate. There we go. Just clean them all up. No idea what happened. What is happening? I think that Maeve is a bot. For sure. I don't know about the rest of them, though. This Andrew obviously isn't a bot either. I think it's just the Maeve, actually. Might be the IO too. But that could have also been coincidence that she was just on the point there. I don't know. But I guess let's also talk about some of the things you could do to play Vora a bit better, because I do think that's probably a good idea, right? Help you improve with one of the most popular characters in the game. In terms of items, I see a concerning number of people actually buy Life Rip on Vora, because I guess the thought process is she has DOT, the Life Rip scales well with that or something. Here's the thing about Life Rip, it's just not a good item. Just straight up. It doesn't matter who you're playing these days, it just doesn't really cut it. Like, Kill to Heal has absolutely no cauterize, right? It can't be caught, so you will get much, infinite more value out of that item in late game than you will Life Rip. And Life Rip also doesn't scale that well on characters who have low DPS. Vora's kind of a mid-range DPS, so I guess comparatively it's okay on her, but it's still not, like, phenomenal. Excuse me, phenomenal on her. Like, honestly, your best bet with Vora is actually to get Kill to Heal if you do want to sustain item, because she is a flank. Kill to Heal just scales really well on flanks, because they're the ones, you know, trying to get as many eliminations as possible. So, yeah, I would recommend doing that instead. Haven's obviously good. Nimble is pretty nice. Hey, we dodged that again. Let's go. Popping off. I'm just going to execute him, sir. You've annoyed me. There we go. And honestly, Chronos can be nice as well for more tendrils. Obviously, tendriling around the map is pretty fun. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that, especially not the 7 mains. But Vora's tendril doesn't send me across the map in one tendril. What do you mean? It's not fun to play. I play 7. No, it's pretty fun. Chronos is nice. So yeah, pretty conventional items on Vora. Like, Life Rip is really the only unusual item I see people buy, like, more often than not on Vora, and it just doesn't make sense. The reason Life Rip is so bad, by the way, apart from it not, you know, scaling well with Cauterize, is when you're shooting the enemies, usually they tend to Hello? Okay, random triple. But yeah, usually they tend to shoot back, and when they shoot back, they apply Cauterize, thus nixing all your damage, to the point where you're healing yourself for, you know, usually only maybe a few hundred healing per second anyways, with Life Rip no caught, and then with Cauterize, it is dozens of healing per second, and that's just not good. It's just not good, man. Even Rejuve would be better on Vora if you have, like, a Corvus pocket or something. But yeah, in terms of, like, other gameplay tips, like I was describing earlier, her game loop is generally kind of safe, where you can spam shots from the back due to your superior range, and then build up darkness stacks and then go in. Although if someone's not paying attention like this Androxus, then I guess just kill him like that. But that's not a great example, because it's not a great player, no offense. This matchmaking is awful. I should probably use this Eevee as the demonstration, because she's actually a good player. Probably the only other good player in this lobby. Oh! I'm sorry, I don't mean to throw shade like that. No, she's doing good. This is just wonky matchmaking, we don't talk about it. But yeah, you definitely want to take advantage of your superior range, because that is one of the things that Vora does extremely well, is her range. It's a lot more consistent than a lot of other characters, because the projectiles are large and they have a long range, and she has no fall-off, so yeah, definitely take advantage of that. And usually you want to save your tendril for, like, yeah, when you want to dive in on somebody who's already low, or if you need to dodge in a fight like that. And you want to try and make sure that you're looking cut, right? Because, like, if I grapple to the floor like this, obviously I'm not going to go as far as if I grapple up like that. And adding that verticality also makes it so that... Okay, there we go. It also makes it so that it's harder for them to track me, because we're adding a third dimension to my dodging, instead of just being two-dimensional, you know, only on the ground. Pretty basic tip, I know, but who knows who I'm talking to? I could be talking to a new player right now, like the new players in this lobby, right? Yeah. And yeah, Obliterate, obviously, this ability, like, it does do good damage, and you could possibly use it, like, as a finisher move, but I wouldn't really use it for damage apart from using it as a finisher move, because the immunity frames on it are really where the value comes from more so when you're in a duel, right? Because, like, if I'm fighting that Eevee, and I want to dodge a shot, I can use the Obliterate to block that damage. If she's close enough, it will do damage to her, but the point is, that's one shot that I didn't have to take. You know, like that right there. It did damage to her, and I dodged the shot. That's a good use of Obliterate. You don't want to use it all willy-nilly, because that is one of your primary modes of defense. That's actually one of the best ways you can stay alive, is timing it to dodge attacks. And that is in a similar vein to stuff like Ice Block as well. It's just one of those abilities that you use to, yeah, proactively dodge something. But you have to keep in mind that it is able to be crippled, so it's not like Ice Block or Magic Barrier in that sense, so you do want to be really, really careful of cripples. Like, my thought process against this Eevee, I'm gonna keep using her as the example here, is she is able to cripple me with her ultimate, right? She's not going Snow Globe, so she's not going to ult me as often, but if I'm close to that Eevee, not only am I not taking advantage of my superior range, but also she is able to ult me, and if she ults me, I cannot use my Obliterate to stay alive. So I want to try and keep my distance with this Eevee. I want to keep her at a nice sort of mid-range, where she's close enough that I can really consistently do damage with my weapon shots, but I'm not so close that she can easily get an ultimate on me. That's going to be tough, because... Oh, I thought she was going to ult there for a sec. But yeah, it's not going to be easy, because of course she can just, you know, teleport on me, and that's why I gotta be careful and, you know, proactively Vine. Because, like, if I Tendril before she casts the ultimate, then if I'm already in the ultimate but the Tendril has already been cast, I'm still going to carry that momentum forward and actually Tendril out of the Ice Storm just fine. So that's something to keep in mind. That's very important. And also, like I did there, where I obliterated but she didn't actually ult, if I do obliterate right when she ults, then I'll at least get a little bit of immunity out of it, and that's better than nothing. It's better than not being able to use the obliterate at all, so that is something to think about as well. There is actually a lot that can go into such a simple ability as obliterate, and I like those type of mind games. That's why I like Eevee so much. That's why I like the flank class in general, and that is why I like Vora, even though I don't play her as much as some of the other flanks. But she is a really, really cool flank, and honestly, I'd like to see more like her. Because, yeah, she is really fun, and generally a really good character for this game. Holy crap, this was basically a glorified 1v1. Eevee popping off, going 29-9. Me popping off, going 35-7. I have no idea what this matchmaking was, man. Oh, God. Late Sunday night matchmaking, man. It is not the greatest, is it? But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know this wasn't the style that you guys voted for, where I do the gameplay and then commentate over top of it. I figured with this particular instance, I thought it would just be better to kind of commentate over the gameplay live, but I'll probably do kind of a hybrid of both of those, just depending on the subject. But yeah, of course, let me know what other champions you would like to see me cover in the comment section down below. I always read the comments. I try and do my best. Sometimes if there are too many, I miss a few, but, you know, I do try and read them very, very frequently, so make sure you comment down below. But yeah, make sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.